Okay, people, we gotta talk about that One Piece greatness, fam. The last few chapters of One Piece has been absolutely insane. From the fake Oden done by Kanjiro. Kanjiro still lurking about. Orochi's return, or is it short-lived return? I don't know. I don't know how to call it, people. Kaido's man-beast form. Seemingly Ashura's death a few chapters ago. I'm not sure about that one, fam. 10-10. One Piece chapter 10-10, fam. Luffy and Zoro. Oh, I don't know who took it for that one, fam. We got a lot to talk about. I don't know who took it. Was it Zoro with his epic ass Conqueror's Haki slash, or Luffy just bopping like, yo, this is prime One Piece. It's chapters like these, especially the latest one, chapter 1010, that truly demonstrate exactly why One Piece is considered the GOAT by many. It's exactly chapters like this that you go off the walls after reading it, screaming like, yo, this is insane. We got a lot to talk about. Like I said, without further ado, people, let's jump into a little bit of that One Piece greatness. Let's do it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, people, so before we dive into the latest events, we gotta backtrack a little bit. It's been about 3 chapters of material that we got to talk about. For starters, chapter 1008, we were all baffled by, wait a minute, Oden is back. What's going on here? Obviously, it turned out to be a fake. At that point, like, before they got me, like, what was it? Like, it was not that long ago when it was the whole thing with Yamato and her design and everybody, like, I ain't gonna lie, for a moment there, they got me like, wait a minute, could this be Oden? This time around, I was like, you ain't gonna fool me, Oda. Nah, Oda, you ain't doing it this time, fam. So I kind of was like, okay, you know, there's a small probability of it being Oden, but for the most part, I wasn't buying it. And yeah, Kanjiro with his fake paintings, you had everybody there, like, which, imagine the emotional distress and the emotional trauma that he put upon them with that moment, let alone everything else that has been done, but that moment in particular, all of them thinking that, holy shit, aside from Ashura, obviously Ashura knew, but Oden is alive. This is Oden. What's going on here? Like, Kanjiro, rest in piss when you die, fam. Just straight up have a nice little nappy wappy inside that piss, because that's just wrong. But shout outs to Ashura, like, dude, he discerned immediately what was going on. He was like, yo, fam, Toki's powers can send somebody to the future, but yeah, he died. That's not gonna change. You can't go back in time. You can't change things. So unfortunately, that's not gonna happen. That's not Oden. And yeah, quickly they realized after they slashed him, no blood, and that was traumatic. Again, even for me, I was just putting myself in their shoes. Like, imagine somebody that you really cared about, loved, admired, whatever, and all of a sudden they're there, and then you realize, oh, somebody's playing a practical joke. I will fuck someone up. However, Kanjiro don't really give a shit. He's like, yo, I came to destroy the Kozuki, and yeah, I'm gonna die in this battle, but I'm gonna make sure I hunt down that little Momo first, which, yo, at this point, Kanjiro needs to go. As a matter of fact, not even at this point. He should have been gone. I wish it would have been already a wrap when he got, you know, off the first time around. But one of the things I think with Kanjiro, in terms of looking at his whole betrayal, because that was a big one, right? I think it would have had more impact, at the very least for me. I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for me. I would have felt more of the impact of Kanjiro's betrayal if we weren't in the midst of just all of this madness. Big Mom, Kaido, their crews and everything going at it, Luffy and them feeling like on some final battle type of stuff. If the reveal would have happened maybe a lot sooner than any of this going on, I think it would have had more impact. It would have shaken things up a little more. I would have cared more about it. Like, I care because it's like, oh shit, but considering in the grand scheme of things, Kanjiro is such a small player, it's like, yo, he's basically an underling of Orochi, and Orochi is like, I don't want to say underling of Kaido, but you know, he was bamboozled by Kaido and he was nothing compared to Kaido. So like, in the grand scheme of things, I think he got drowned out, and this whole thing with Kanjiro in general got drowned out amongst everything else that is just climactic and epic surrounding him. And then, like we've seen, Jack is back, and it seems as though him and Inagarashi are gonna throw down, and this time neither one of them have their secret weapons. There's no poisonous gas, but however, there's no moon. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if Inagarashi can take out Jack. That's just me. Like, I think he got strength. Obviously, he could throw hands, but without being able to go into his Sulong form, you know, the moon and shit like that, I don't know how much he's gonna be able to throw down with Jack. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jack is indeed injured. We've seen that firsthand and whatnot, but I don't know. Like, I feel as though Inagarashi, he might die at the hands of Jack, putting Jack down. Like, I think he could kill Jack, but it's gonna cost him his life as well. But we gotta wait and see. Either way, I thought that was an interesting setup of a fight because we've seen him and Neko Mamushi throwing hands with Jack before. We'll see though. Either way, I'm looking forward to that one. I hope we get more of a showcase of that because I know, especially after chapter 1010, we're probably going to cut back to something like that afterward before we move forward with Luffy and that. So I'm imagining we'll see more of that battle that I'm actually interested in. But then we also get the big reveal. Orochi is still alive and burning down the castle, which again, that was another one that for the most part I've been saying for a while. His death just didn't feel as, I don't know, not climactic because, you know, Orochi, you could rest in piss too. Like, you ain't Kanjiro. Go put yourselves in a casket hugging and just go under. You know what I'm saying? But Orochi, I kind of figured he'd still be around, and he is. Obviously, you know, him having the multiple heads and things like that. But I'm wondering how long he's going to be around, if he's going to be around at all anymore. I'm interested to see how Oda is going to handle him, because we'll talk about it, you know, here in a second when we jump to chapter 1009's events and whatnot, but it seems as though it's walking a fine line with the whole Orochi situation. I feel as though there was a grandiose build-up, and yeah, it's kind of been waiting in the wings, but we'll get to that in a second. Because then we come back to Yamato and she's talking like, yo, I want to kick Kaido's ass as well. And I feel like Momo is going to have a very impactful moment at the end of all this. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the final blow to Kaido is done by Momo. And I know you're probably thinking like, yo, Fornev, what are you smoking? Can I have some of that? No, I don't mean that like, yo, Momo's going to be the triumphant. I'm meaning like Kaido is literally there breathing his last breath, and then Momo comes and just kind of like spits in his face, and that was, you know, he was gonna die anyway, but Momo has the last laugh, the last blow to kind of also invigorate the future of, you know, the people. If he's going to be the successor to his father in every form and fashion, people got to see him standing over Kaido and looking like, yo, he kind of did it. And I feel like there's a power up coming for him. Maybe I'm just totally off on that, but the way they've been building up about there being this extra fruit that was a kind of recreation of Kaido's, I think that's the one that he has to begin with because it's kind of a failed one. And imagine him having like a really sick man beast form similar to Kaido, but maybe it could even be stronger because again, it was a malfunction, and what if a malfunction actually turns out to be stronger than the original? So I'm looking forward to seeing if something really epic and iconic happens with Momo. I think it could be done. I think it'll serve really well for the future of Wano, for them to see their, you know, future leader kicking major ass and stopping the person that murdered his father all those years ago. And the fact of him knowing that Luffy's okay when like Luffy's all the way up top at the roof, it's kind of like, yo, does Momo have some secret latent abilities? Probably. And then the end of the chapter is where we got the big reveal finally of Kaido's man beast form, the design, because Luffy's like, yo, they humans, which this was the point I feel as though where Luffy started getting it in his mind, no, 100% we're going to win, we can do this, we will win, because he's like, they're just humans, fam, they're humans like us, and he flings right at them, not giving a shit. Like, I feel getting dialogue like that from Luffy is him really reaffirming like, no, we're going for the win. This isn't a struggle of like, man, it feels impossible. No, in his mind, he kind of already won because he knows he could win, because we get the final panel of Kaido standing next to Big Mom with his, you know, sick ass man beast design, and he's infatuated with the look in Luffy's eyes. I love that stuff in anime and manga, like, you know, the eye of the tiger, so to speak, that spark in his eyes, because Kaido's hyped for this battle to come now that he's in his man beast form and he's standing next to Big Mama. And honestly, I don't need to say it because even though I probably will, this chapter was awesome, great, whatever. Next couple chapters, it just keeps getting better and better, because now we go to 1009, because Kinemon and them were unaware that Orochi was already seemingly murdered. He's supposed to be dead, but they don't know that. And what went through his mind, right? Like, I get it, he has an ancient zone fruit, so maybe he thought like, yo fam, I'm the shit or whatever, but do you not realize that they just went up against, you know, all the scabbards went up against Kaido and they did a little bit of damage? They were able to pierce him. Are you crazy, bro? Like, Orochi, when you was there, like, this whole time you've been off screen, what have you been doing? Again, have you been smoking, son, Orochi? Because he's like, okay, I'm cornered on all ways, like there's no way to back out because Kaido's back this way, so Orochi's kind of like screwed at this point, because Orochi knows there's essentially no way out, because again, do you want to fight the scabbards or you want to face Kaido after he just tried to kill you last time around? So he knows he's screwed there. And I also like that he recognized, oh shit, Kyoshiro, because, you know, Orochi thinks he's so slick and he maneuvered and manipulated for years and years and years to see Kyoshiro, you know, who he thought was Kyoshiro anyway, fool him. that's good because he got one upped. He always thought he was like playing 4D chess, 5D chess. No, you got bamboozled too. But he goes into his ancient zone dragon form thinking he's about to do something, and the scabbards treat him like, I don't know, they were just chopping lumber or something like that. They just chopped them all up, which I want to say it looked as though they chopped up about like 6 heads. So you count 6 plus the other one, that's 7. How many heads does he have? I think he's still alive, to be honest with you. As epic as it was as they chopped him up, again, it didn't feel like a finale climactic end for Orochi. I don't know if it's the amount of heads, and maybe he has like 1 or 2 left or whatever, but it looked like about 6 were sliced, and we know that he got his head sliced last time by Kyoshiro. That makes 7. Maybe he has 1 or 2 more heads. Maybe that's just me. And to be honest with you, it would be kind of a waste to why bring him back for these last 2 chapters if he's just going to get sliced down again with no regard. I mean, I guess it would have been a great payback for the scabbards to, with their hands, take him down. But I feel like he got 1 more chess piece left to move, even though, come on, Orochi, you piece of shit. You're getting everything you deserve, getting chopped up left and right. Fuck you. And everybody in the world wish they had a man's like Orochi's man's Fukurokuju. Like, yeah, everybody wish they had mans like him because dude is actually still standing on his own too for Orochi, because it seems as though we're getting a setup between him and Raizo, and I don't know what history they might have aside from everything we've seen before, but I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really all that enthusiastic about that one. Like, you were rocking with a dude that was metaphorically and literally a snake, so get whatever's coming to you. Raizo, kick his ass. But then we cut back to the Kaido situation, and we see that they're so damn strong, Kaido and Big Mom, that Law can't even use his techniques, his room, to move them. Like, their haki is just too supreme, so to speak, which, yeah, that's how it should be, honestly. Like, a lot of people been complaining about, like, oh, this one's looking like, no, they're so strong, you can't move them. And I ain't gonna lie, I know in the anime they're gonna do major justice to that combo attack of Kaido and Big Mom. What was it, Conquest of the Sea? Like, I can just imagine in the anime, even though they're gonna drag that shit out, it's gonna be like a whole episode of them doing that one attack. But when they did that shit, and you see just everyone's reactions and everything, like, that looked insane and very scary. Like, 2 giant Yonko doing a combo attack. Lord help me. Or help Luffy in them, I guess. And then here's where I've seen some people calling BS on it. I could see the argument thrown of why it's BS. I also see that, hey, we're in the grand finale. If Luffy, Zoro, and them aren't fighting at the very least somewhat close to these people, then when? When? Like, we're almost at the end of One Piece. So yeah, I'm expecting Zoro to be able to do shit, because at that point, he essentially, with everything he had, almost everything he had, he blocks the blast for a split second so that everybody just isn't, you know, completely wiped out. And some people call him BS, like, Zoro's strong enough to block the attack of 2 Yonko at once. I mean, it was described that it was literally for a split second. Like, he blocked enough so that they don't die. Like, that's what he did. He didn't block it and send it, you know, projectile style away like, you pussies, I'm Zoro. Like, no, like, it was a split second and it crumbled up his freaking body damn near. And I mean, he was blacked out after that for a second. Like, he fell out. Like, yeah, Zoro was on his last legs after that. Like, he did one more epic thing in the next chapter we'll talk about, but for the most part, for a second, he took a blast from the Yonko. Yeah, he did. And what? Like, that's supposed to happen at this point. We're in the end game. What are we doing here if we're not doing that? And man, just, again, the action, fam. The action. Oda, I don't know. Oda was like, yo, y'all been saying I don't do action? Let me show you. Luffy charging in with, it looked like a red hawk, if I'm not mistaken, and then he gets hit with the club again, which I love that it seems as though that point right there was a big lesson for Luffy. That right there is what gave him the keys to the next chapter. So, shout outs to Oda putting in small detail. Well, kind of big detail. Yeah, we're in the midst of a fight, but Luffy learning and strategizing in the midst of a battle. Like, yo, I figured out the weakness. I figured out his strength, matter of fact. And then Kaido using Conqueror of 3 Worlds Ragnarok. Like, oh my god, y'all know, because honestly, the One Piece anime, it's been phenomenal. Like, Wano, they decided, Toei Animation were like, no, we're going all out. We're making it look like a seasonal anime damn near every episode. This is going to look beautiful. I'm calling it. Like, Toei cannot mess this up because it's too good. But then Kid and Law come up with a trick to basically take out, or separate at the very least, one of them, because like, yo, at the end of the day, we're fighting 2 Yonko. Like, don't get it twisted. They're strong and they've come a long way. Kid, Killer, Zoro, Law, all of them. But come on, fam. If we could separate them, we'd be at a better odds of winning. So they use shambles to lock Zeus in a box, which Zeus is the stupid one anyway. That makes sense. Like Prometheus is the one that you got to look out for, which we're going to talk about Prometheus in a second as well, with 1010 of like, looks like he's trying to pull a fast one, but they lock him up. And then Zoro, yet again, which, okay, at this point, I forgot about this one. It does look like, yo, Zoro, you just blocked the attack of the Yonko, and now here you are again, because he slices up Prometheus to make sure as Big Mom is falling, because this is all a part of a plan, Zoro cutting up Prometheus and whatnot. But yeah, I could see the argument of like, yo, what's going on? I mean, I could throw the counter argument of like, he's just cutting up something that is kind of, you know, not able to fight back at the moment, Prometheus, so it's not like the biggest deal in the world. But here's where some people were saying that Kid is yet again looking silly, and I would say no. Like, Kid actually looked pretty dope, because don't get me wrong, Big Mom starts pummeling on Kid and saying, you think you would beat me by just doing that to them, you know, locking Zeus away and cutting up Prometheus? You crazy? I'm Big Mama, my vagina. Because he uses repel, and then a big giant boulder goes flying at Big Mom, and they knock her off of the roof, basically sending her into the ocean without the aid of Zeus or Prometheus to stop her from falling into the ocean, because they locked Zeus, cut up Prometheus. Godlike plan. Like, yo, strategy in these battles, like, this is turning out to be no fangasm shit, none of that. Objectively, one of the best fights in One Piece. Like, the strategy used, we're fighting like some of the climactic ones. Like, this is how you do it. This is how you showcase a godlike battle. But then we get to the latest chapter, arguably could be One Piece's chapter of the year at this point, because of what we saw in the chapter. Big Mom falling, saying, "Oh mate, Prometheus, help me lad." Law being the voice of the readers, saying, yo, how the hell is Zoro still going? Like, fam. Although, I do gotta remind y'all, remember, I don't know how many arcs ago now, hundreds of chapters ago, and this is when he was way weaker before the time skip. Zoro's a glutton for punishment. He could take it. Remember when he took all of Luffy's pain and he was just standing there and told Sanji nothing happened? Like, yeah, Zoro, he has an endurance like no other, so just keep that in mind. And this was that was a way weaker Zoro. Where he's at right now, of course he's going to be able to withstand a lot. He withstood a lot before he was this strong. But then Kaido, which I love how he's kind of like disappointed with Big Mom. He's like, yo, that's pathetic, which again, it feels like Oda is voicing what some of the fandom has been saying, because obviously, again, Big Mom falling and begging for help. Kaido's looking like, you pathetic as hell. But he charges at Law and Zoro, and then Law hitting him with an injection, which it wasn't like a stab. I think he used like the medical powers to basically make it that the stab goes through his neck. So it's not really like he actually pierced him. He more so used his, devil fruit ability to make it happen. So it wasn't like, hey, everybody's piercing Kaido, but I still love the violence of it. I don't know. Oda been stepping it up on the violence. And here's where I feel like it was somewhat of a flaw. Maybe I'm off on that, because with Big Mom falling, Law is like, yo, just let her go. The whole point was to separate them. That way, we don't got to lose anybody. But Kid and Killer just go after Big Mom, which it could be a good or a bad thing. It could be a good thing because, hey, we see that she actually gets saved by Prometheus. They're going to be right there. They could potentially do something to like, no, we got to knock this bitch off this little sun patch or whatever. Like, you got to go into that ocean. So that could happen. But then at the same time, you're separating the powers of like, if all of them right there would have just jumped Kaido, we might have been able to take Kaido out right then and there. But then again, we find out later in the chapter that we don't need it, but it still would have been nice to have those numbers. But here's where Prometheus is looking a little sus, right? Because he saves Big Mom, starts talking trash about Zeus, like, yo, he's an idiot, he's a dummy. And then he gives this look that was like real smug and real like he's about to do something real messed up to Big Mom, because he's like, after talking about Zeus, so anyway, mama, can I ask you for something? And here's the thing, if she says no, all Prometheus got to do is be like, damn, word, who else could save you right now? Nobody, right? Get in the water, you big bitch. And like, that'll be the end of Big Mom. Maybe I'm looking at it differently, but him asking her, it felt like he knows he has control right now. All he has to do is say, word, you don't want to do what I'm asking, which whatever it could be, get in the water. So I'm curious what it is that he's going to ask of Big Mom that she normally would say no. Again, maybe I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Maybe it's just that, I don't know, he wants to go inside Big Mom's butt cheeks or something. But that's just how I felt. Like, I felt like Prometheus is about to do something real sneaky, and he's using the fact that Big Mom's life hangs in the balance if he decides to throw her off. And then we cut to Kid, and he's noticing that there's like clouds all in the sky all of a sudden. I'm wondering what's that about. Is that something to do with Zeus? It felt more like, when Kaido goes into his dragon form, so he wasn't going into his dragon form. What's going on there? That was something that had me a little bit like, okay, we'll see. And shout outs to Luffy, man. Like, yo, you making Kaido Kaido. I always got to reference the man that jumped from the heavens, Kaido, feeling insecure and saying, he's still giving me that look. Like he's knocked out cold and he's still looking down on me like real manship. Manly. But then Kaido's like, oh, bet I'm going to crush your skull. I'm going to crush your skull, your heart, whatever it may be. I'm going to do the damn thing. And this is where, like, again, I've seen some complaints of people saying, so Zoro, let me get this straight. Which I could see it. Now that I'm looking at, I've been talking about all this back to back in sequence, I can see the complaint now to a certain degree of like, so wait a minute. Zoro just blocked this big combo attack of Big Mom and Kaido, even if it was for a second, but he blocked it. Then he had the strength to go cut up Prometheus. And then after that, because Zoro says he's about to go to the limit of his ability, this is the strongest attack that he got in his arsenal. And he tells Kaido, yo fam, if you're going to crush anyone's skull, it's going to be mine because that's my captain. Which, my God, I just can't stop. Like I'm fangasming over talking about every event in this chapter, but that was epic. And he does Demon Aura 9 sword style Ashura dead man game slashing through Kaido, which this is so epic because I've seen so many like little fan arts of people showcasing like Zoro doing this exact technique on Kaido and Kaido being slashed or whatnot. I was like, oh my God. Like a part of me says, yeah, you know what? I gotta be real. There is a valid criticism to say what is going on with Zoro being able to do all of this. My kickback to that is, again, go back to him taking all of Luffy's pain when he was way weaker and still standing. Like, he's stronger now. He could take more now and still keep going. That's my argument for that. And I love how, too, with the epicness of that strong-ass attack, Kaido's like, don't tell me you can use the color of the Supreme King as well. And Zoro's like, what? Like, nah, fam. Like, this is my strongest attack. I don't know what you're talking about. Which confirms Zoro has the Conqueror's Haki. A lot of this stuff, right? Like, getting all of this, for example, of, like, Zoro's Conqueror's, you know, Haki and stuff like that. And it seems like he just scratched the surface of it. He doesn't even understand it. How epic would it be if we got another time skip at some given point of him having that somewhat mastered? Luffy being way stronger than what he is right now, fighting up against whether it's the government or whatever. I would love for one more time skip with them significantly older, not like, you know, in their 40s or some shit, but let's just say all of them around the age of 30 or around that time, and them being masters at all of these powers. Like, what if this is the big catalyst to jumping into, again, I don't know if it'll happen because Oda always talks about ending the manga. I would love one more time skip, even if it's just for the final war. I would love that. And even though Zoro failed to knock Kaido off his feet, which that was the main goal that he had, he ultimately still, you know, Kaido's like, yo, I may not have been knocked off my feet, but these wounds are gonna stay, so shout outs to you. Which Zoro, yeah, he must have like a link to Oden's, you know what I'm saying? Because fam, like, he's did everything that, you know, a lot of people said Zoro wasn't going to be able to do a lot of this to Kaido. People say, you crazy, but he did it. And again, I know we're going to get the criticism of Zoro's too, but like, I don't give a shit. Zoro is epic. This was amazing. I loved it. But the epicness is short-lived because, again, Kaido's still standing. He's wounded, but he's still standing, and he knocks Law and Zoro out with another Thunder Baguya, which, goddamn, Zoro, you had your moment, but that was the transition to an even greater moment. Like, oh, well, I don't know. I guess that if you made it this far into the video, let me know who had the better moment, Zoro's, the Conqueror's Haki slices, or what we're getting into next with Luffy. Because Kaido remarks that, yo fam, if only I would have followed me, you know, we could have conquered the world, fam, why? And Luffy's like, yo, we ain't following nobody, I'm gonna be king, fam. Oh, and he's like, yo, we love the samurai, we was never following you, fam. And also, I figured out your weakness, I figured out how you doing things, big fella. Because basically the entire time, Kaido, when he knocks people, like when he hits you with Thunder Baguya, he's using the Conqueror's Haki combined into these things, which that was one of the biggest lessons that Luffy had with Hyogoro of how to do things like that, like to hurt people from the inside. And he's using a similar tactic of, hey, let me combine my Conqueror's Haki into my Thunder Baguya, this big ass club. And this was the first time I want to say that we've seen Luffy, like when, you know, Kaido swings the giant club at him, he actually blocks it. He uses his Haki to block it, and Kaido's like, yo, only the strongest can do this shit, what the hell? And then he follows up with showcasing that Luffy is indeed the 5th Yonko is here. He is on the level now. Like, all the shit that was talked, Luffy is here. He hits him in the gut. hits him with an uppercut and puts him on his ass. And Luffy thanks Law and Zoro for giving him time to get back up and doing their thing. And he's like, yo, tell everybody I'm about to put this dude down. And honestly, chapter 1010 of One Piece might be chapter of the year. I mean, there's just been a lot of great chapters this year of One Piece from 1000 to now, but chapter 1010 was insane, amazing. Very curious what you guys think about all of this stuff. For starters, how do you feel about Zoro, everything he's done, the iconic moments and everything? Are you disappointed to a certain degree of feeling like, yo, Zoro is too beastly, like he's doing too much, he should have been knocked out a long time ago? What do you think about Luffy kicking Kaido's ass at this point now, figuring out the trick to what he's been doing? Again, I've seen people calling BS. I could see a certain argument for the Zoro stuff, but if we're not doing this now, then when? When are we going to be ready? Now's the time to be ready. Your thoughts on Oden, fake Oden coming back, Kanjiro still being around? Do you think Momo's going to have a big power up? Like, all of this. What do you think Prometheus was going to ask Big Mom? Is it something sneaky to her detriment or something she's not going to like? And your overall thoughts and expectations for One Piece with 1011 and beyond. It'll be a couple weeks until we get One Piece, but man, this was amazing. Hope you enjoyed my video. That's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links of course in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and you better believe he said it for 1010 chapters, 900 plus episodes. Luffy is going to be the king of the pirates, and he's demonstrating why right now. Have an awesome one.
You